Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Illinois Green Party podcast. My guest tonight is Christina Khalil. She is running for the in New Jersey for the Senate. And everybody, welcome Christina. Hi, how's it going?
It's going good. Thank you so much for having me. Um, so I guess maybe the first, are you
Oh, so just tell us about your Senate race. I'll
okay?
cue you. Yeah, you're running for
Okay,
Senate. Whatever.
okay. So I'm running for Senate. So the race has been very interesting. I learned a lot of things I would probably do differently. And I've also took the information, the guidance that I was given, and I really excelled and pushed it forward. Um, I've had lots of volunteers come and go. So I've learned, and we've all learned, that a federal Senate race is very demanding. So a lot of people are like, oh, I did this for Congress, I did that for this. And then it's like people are like, oh, we got to do North and Central and South Jersey. It's overwhelming. So the schedules didn't match up a lot. But I did make lifelong friends. I shouldn't be saying that word, but here we are.
Well, sometimes you
um,
just know. Sometimes you just
yeah.
know. These people are
So
for real.
yeah, I just made lifelong friends, and I know that what I would do better if I don't win, but there is a huge shot that I actually can win this. So where I'm at right now in the Senate race, we did file for the FEC. Yay! And then I heard other people hit in New Jersey. I heard other people hit the 5,000 mark, so they're going to be filing soon, which is really good. Um,
Other people, as in who?
I'm going to let them file and let them come out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm not going to
Oh no,
reveal
I'm
names.
just saying other Green Party people.
Yeah, other
Okay,
congressional
that
candidates.
yeah.
Yep,
Okay,
yep,
gotcha.
yep. And then, so yeah, where was I going to say? Oh yeah, so filing, but I spent a lot of the donations. So I did mailers, I did digital advertising trucks to drive around, I did radio stations, and I am doing and commercials, YouTube commercials. And
Yeah.
allegedly I've been asking people to watch News 12 New Jersey for me if they have it. I don't have it. But like people are saying they're seeing my commercial on News 12, which is kind of a concern. I'm like, is this like a slander commercial, or is this like one of my YouTube commercials? Because I never put one on News 12.
Well, I mean, Jill kind of taught us that sometimes when they talk smack about you, it actually helps you because people may not have heard of you yet.
Oh
And
yeah.
that
No, but
happened to her with the Breakfast Club, and what was there was another one too. I can't remember. Even Democracy Now was kind of, the framing was a little bit hostile. But I'm glad they finally got on. So
yeah.
your race is neck and neck and neck. You said.
Oh yeah. So if we're looking at the polling, because they do not include third party candidates in polling in New Jersey, even if we do the hard work, unless you're sponsored by corporate donors, which I am not. I am completely grassroots, all working class. You don't exist. So what they've been so there's 34% for the Republican, like 37% or 35% for the Democratic candidate. So it's neck and neck. So there's a huge margin of voters not accounted for. Now that's just the polling. This is not the voters that have never voted. And there's 2.6 million voters that don't come out to vote for elections. So you have that entire huge margin plus the voters that don't vote.
Just in
And
New Jersey?
just in New Jersey. So I've been going out there and I've been trying to encourage people to vote, and I've been doing the advertisement to try and get that margin. So I could actually wake up being the new senator of New Jersey on Wednesday morning. But Tuesday, it's just going to be a regular day. I'm going to wake up, I'm going to vote on Tuesday, and I do have to work both my jobs on Tuesday. So I'm not going to really know the results until at the very end of the day, if I stay awake or when I wake up in the morning.
Like you'll be able to sleep, though, right?
Oh my gosh. Well, my work, I would be able to sleep because I'm a social
Oh,
worker and
okay.
therapist. So, like, but at the end of the day, I'm physically and mentally exhausted. So
Yeah.
sleep is not
Yeah.
not an issue for me. And I'm just like, whatever happens, I can authentically say, like, I gave it my all. I fundraised. I went out there. I traveled all over the state of New Jersey, and I gave it my all for everything.
That's
And I
wonderful.
still have advertisements going, and everything's been going for the last few weeks. So it's been advertising for the entire month of October, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
And everything's going to stop at the end of between 7 and 8 p.m. on November 5th. So I have election day going right up until the polls close.
Wow.
I mean, advertising going up until the polls close.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
And
So
that's very expensive. So good
yeah.
on
So
you.
again, thank you, donors, to do that.
If anybody
And
else would like to pitch in?
yeah, if anyone does want to
Oh,
donate.
I should put up your thing. Hang on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you would like to donate or volunteer,
Yes.
and if you want to volunteer, she mostly needs help on social media to spread the word.
Yeah, so if you guys are if anyone at this point for volunteering, if you are interested in volunteering, we just need people to retweet hashtag New Jersey and hashtag Khalil for Senate or Heal with Khalil, and getting people and just spreading the message and telling people to vote for May.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. Yep. So head on over there and see what she's all about. You've got quite an impressive history. You have a BA, you have a BA and a master's. Tell us about how that ties into your work.
Well, speaking of history, I do want to give a shout out. I was a homeless teenager, and so I'm part of the shelter alumni Facebook group, and they gave me a shout out today.
Aww.
They actually took pictures of the voting booth, and they shared it in the group and said, "Look whose name's on it. It's one of ours." So it was actually such a wonderful moment today, and it really warmed my heart, and it was really nice to see that people were very supportive. And to even come from that kind of background to oh, you're running for Senate, your name's on the ballot right now. That's kind of crazy.
Well, I think it's necessary because they live in some kind of weird bubble. They don't even understand what our life is. And that's people that are kind of doing okay.
Yeah.
But to be homeless or reliant on assistance because things didn't break your way for a while.
Yeah.
I've been there. Things didn't break my way when I was younger, but I became, had a steady job and all that and became a productive member of society. That's what they expect. People just want a hand up, not a handout,
Yep. And so I went, after all that, I went to college. I got my undergrad degree, which was like a miracle because nobody really thought that I didn't think I was going to go to college either. So that process was a miracle. And then I graduated, and then I got my master's in social work, and I graduated. And in social work, you learn a lot about policies and how it's connected to current programs and how it's connected to just how the funding works, managing, whether we're doing mental health, whether it's what is it, you're handing out Narcan and stuff like that, how the federal funding and the state funding is all connected. And then once you learn that stuff, you're learning, okay, you deep dive into how the insurance works, how the housing assistance programs work. And then you're like, okay, well, how do you get a house? That kind of program. Then you're learning different policies on different levels. And you're just like, wait a second, this entire system's screwed up. Who's going to do something about it? And the people in office just don't care because they get handed these seats. They don't have to work for these seats. And when they're in there, they just are like, I'm doing everything I can. Meanwhile, they're just playing golf. And then here we are. We're just struggling.
That they're working around the clock.
Yeah. Right? Yeah, on the golf course or tanning on a yacht.
So I really love this. I got this from your website. Christina Khalil for U.S. Senate. Heal with Khalil. Yes, I love things. And with your background, I think you could do a lot of good. Maybe you could heal some of those people if they're not beyond hope.
Oh yeah.
When you get there,
got to be replaced.
You just need to go. You just need to go. Get out of the way, right? Yeah, they've been bought.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how did New Jersey get a full slate of candidates for the U.S. House? How did that go down?
So when I left the Democratic Party to join the Green Party candidacy, that was my only one condition. And if they couldn't get me a full slate of candidates, I would have left. So the only way I would have ran is with a full slate of candidates. It's very important to have that down ballot and to have that cohesiveness and unity. But I do want to give credit where credit's due. Majority of my support, because GPNJ is very stretched thin and a lot of people are off doing their own thing, has come from national, and so like national really stepped up and they really believed in me and helped me and really got me started in this campaign. So that was very, very kind and very sweet. So my heart will always be with national.
That's wonderful. That's good to know, because here in Illinois, I'm working on trying to get people to run for things, and I'm still relatively new to the Green Party, but not necessarily to politics itself, and did other stuff. But I kind of feel like this is the home I've been looking for the whole time.
Yeah,
You know,
that's
I voted Nader in 2000, and then I drifted to the Democrats, and I got sucked in.
Yeah, where they conned everyone. They conned a whole bunch of people. And that's what they don't realize is they need us more than we need them.
Oh, yeah.
Like, put the energy, the same energy we put into them, we could put it into building a completely new party or multiple new parties, whatever party you want. And but they're just like, oh, we need you guys to beat Trump. Okay, well, we gave you guys the opportunity to show us, and you had Biden lie the entire time on his campaign trail and then not deliver on a single promise. So it just goes to show, it's like, okay, you're going to lose the election without us. You need us more than we need you. And now Jill's got our support and our energy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh,
so
thank you.
Here's my friend Gokhan, loud thinker. Says good luck, Christina. And then my buddy Mark Mixon, all the way from the West Coast, Washington. Love Christina, and he says, "Go New Jersey Greens."
Yeah.
Yeah, he's pretty terrific. I've known him for a few years, kind of worked together a little bit. Yeah. So tell us about why you left the Democratic Party. I know we kind of touched on it, but I'm going to set you up for that one.
So some people already know. So like when I started this thing, I started as a progressive Dem. And then when I started, okay, so I made the decision. Let's start back in 2018. I made a decision in 2018 that I was going to run for Senate. Menendez pissed me off, whatever. This was a personal vendetta. All right. I started going around to different Democratic chairs, introducing myself, speaking to people at Democratic events and stuff like that. And they were very smiley. They did what every politician does. We love it. You're a woman. You're running. You're doing all this and blah, 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 blah. Okay. And then here I am. I'm doing all this work. And then they told my campaign manager at the time, which was nice because she called me up and she told me, and she shot me a text. She said, they're not going to support you. They're going to continue to support Menendez.
So why? What was the reason?
That's their friend, and that's who their donors picked. You don't get to pick your politicians as a Democrat or Republican in the state of New Jersey. The only they get picked for you. So I was just like, all right, I had a choice. I was like, I could like fight like heck, in the Democratic Party, or I could figure out a way to do something else. And I was seeing how progressive Dems are being treated, and progressive Dems that should have won elections lost, and progressive Dems that should have been supported by the Democratic Party, right? Because of the progressive party, they were shutting them out, the progressive Dems, and mistreating them and kicking them down while they were low. And I said, you know what? I'm not going to get treated the way these guys are getting treated. It comes a point where it's just like, I see the energy you guys are putting in, and I've seen you guys do this year after year after year, and I see you guys make the same complaints year after year after year. I'm not going to join that complaint circle. I'm just going to go put my energy into something else. And then Renee from the Green Party reached out to me and said, why don't you check out the Green Party and try and run for them? I was like, okay. So I met with the Green Party. They loved my platform. They loved everything. It completely aligned. And now here I am today.
Yeah. Yeah. I wish more people would do that, you know.
Yeah.
Because once you enter the enter the Democratic Party, even for the progressives that win, you totally get co-opted.
Well, that
You know.
they have to sign a contract. You have to support whoever, you lose the money you get from your donors gets funneled into whoever wins. Then you have to sign the contract to say you support whoever wins the nomination, even though they're the worst candidate. And it's just like, why are you wasting your time and energy when you can't even stand by your own beliefs or have your own backbone?
Wow. That explains so much because my recent political journey, but it's been what, going on 10 years now, was because of Bernie. I started seeing the things that he wanted to do. And I'm like, wow, I never thought of that. That sounds great. Medicare for all and all the things that he was talking about. Well, now I'm discovering they got most of that from us.
Oh yeah, and the Green New Deal, and then they added fossil fuel to it. So
Hmm.
it's just one thing of corruption after another, and it's just like, okay, at what point am I going to put my energy into beating a dead horse, or am I going to put my energy into building something and starting something?
Yeah, they tie your hands.
Yeah,
You
so
know?
I decided to put my energy into fighting for what I believe in.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Well, we're happy to have you.
I know, I'm happy to be here. I'm forever green.
Forever green. You're evergreen. There you go.
Evergreen, evergreen. And it's just
um,
the beginning,
yeah.
which I love to tell people. Like, I'm very young when I started in my political journey, so they got like another good 30 years before I retire. So I'm probably I can start a lot of trouble in 30 years.
A lot of good trouble. That's what we
A lot
like.
of good trouble.
So before we popped on, you were kind of talking about some stuff that happened to you yesterday.
Oh my gosh. Okay, guys, I need you guys to picture this. Okay, I'm gonna give you guys a visual map because it was wild yesterday. But like, I want you to know like how into my own bubble and world I was. So I'm on the corner of this heavy flow of human traffic, and there's a street fair and it's early voting all in the same area.
Hmm.
and and then I'm handing out information. I'm getting people to support Greens, which was really cool. And I was on TikTok live the entire time, just hanging out with people. I'm just like, I'm on live, blah 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 blah, having fun. And so I'm supporting local city council candidates. They're called the Save Garfield team. And I also support the Building Brighter Futures, column 3 in Garfield, New Jersey, too. I forgot their names. Anyway, they're for the school board. Anyway, so I'm there with the Save Garfield team. The city council kicked them up the hill, and because we were supposed to canvass together. So they're up the hill at a parking lot trying to canvass to people.
Mm-hmm.
And they're just like, you're the Senate candidate. You have nothing to do with our drama. So like, you go down the hill and you could canvass for yourself and get the good flow of traffic. And I'm like, okay, whatever. It was kind of sad because I wish I was with my friends,
Mm-hmm.
but I was just like, I'll take their lead. But they did it for a good reason too, because the current city council started, they were so aggressive and volatile to these wonderful people. And they asked them about the pilot programs and what they're going to do to help Garfield. And they were threatening them to punch them in the face. They were just like, oh, the mayor of Garfield was flipping off the city council, the candidates running for Save Garfield. Like, these are elected officials that were acting erratic. And then behind me, I was on live, and I'm like, oh my god, you guys see the lady in the pink shirt? And she was saying, oh, sneak up on him, catch him off guard and get him when he's off guard. I'm like, she's asking her son to like sneak another person online. And then it even gets better. It turns out at the end of the day, Nellie Poe was there, Billy Prepe was there, and Bradshaw, my opponent, was there. I had no idea any of these people were there. I was just on live. I was handing out information. People were coming back, and they were just like, "We voted green. We voted green." Yeah. And then there's this guy on live because of like everything going on. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm good. I have a very good relationship with the police officers in this town. They're just, the guy was like, oh, I'll come over and I'll run up on you, Christina. I'm like, you know what, his name was Matt. I was like, Matt, you're more than welcome to come over. The cops are right like 10 feet, not even 10 feet
Yeah.
away from me.
Yeah, they'd be happy to greet you when you
I'm
get
like,
here.
Matt, just come on over. The cops love me so much in this town. You'll get arrested and your car will get towed. I promise you that.
Yeah.
So he did not show up because he was just, and I'm like, and then the people on the left, I'm like, these are old school Italian guys. I'm like, that I know that are on the left of me. So I'm like, Matt, you could run up. Like, you could start screaming at me.
Well, people get brave behind the screen. They just do.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm like, I was like, I'm not even offended. You're just a keyboard warrior. I'm like, what are you doing? Go do something good in the community. So he was just like, he never showed up. And then so it was just really, it was a very interesting day because all this hecticness and craziness was just happening yesterday. And I'm just like on TikTok, just hanging out with people. I'm like, you know what, guys? I think I'm gonna stick with federal. I don't think I ever want to run for local office after today. I'm like, this is never.
Well,
I'm like, we just argue about policies.
If they got on camera, I'm thinking that might hurt their re-election bid.
They were doing it in front of the children and citizens of Guard. Like, they have no regard. It was just, they were doing this and it wasn't hidden. They were out in public acting this
Well,
way.
I'm saying being in public is just the crowd you have, but if anybody got a recording,
Oh yeah,
that's not going to be good for. Yeah, they were on your live, right?
No,
in the
not
background.
just my live. They got on a whole bunch of people's lives, but it turns out it wasn't their first time doing stuff like this. So I'm just like,
what is that supposed to mean? I don't understand.
Yeah, I'm just, no. It turns out they engage in this kind of behavior a lot with their opponents, and I'm just like, the Save Garfield team is just, and I've talked to them, and that's why I support them. They're essentially, they're nonpartisan because they're running for local council, but all the same policies that we have as Greens, they're doing this on a local level. They want to build gardens, they want to take the chemicals out of the water, they want affordable housing, and they want rent control. So they're like really pushing for like such wonderful, beautiful policies. And I was like, I can't not support you guys.
Yeah,
I'm just like,
it's a nonpartisan race. Of course you're going to, because we align on so many things. Yeah.
I was just
and
like,
you're not going to be beholden to the big parties.
Yeah, and then they were just like, you would have been so good for city council. I'm like, after today, I was like, at first I was like, oh, maybe I should have, but after today I was like, I'm so happy I went to the Senate race because all me and my opponents, we just yell about policies. We don't even like threaten each other. Nobody threatens anyone, but like physical violence and like local was definitely something else. I was
that,
just like, yeah,
that just blows my mind. It really does.
But let me tell you, so that I hear about more gossip when it comes to city councils in different towns. And like, there's another town that's not too far. And when a couple years ago, when the city council won, the other people were like upset. The guys were fist fighting after the election. I'm just like, what?
Oh my God. I don't even understand.
I'm like, I'm not doing anything locally, guys, ever. Like, you'll only catch me for Congress or Senate. I will never do anything local.
That doesn't solve anything. Be a good sport, run a good race. You lose, try again. Yeah. If you were the best candidate, maybe you would have won.
I think that's the logic, right? And then,
should have worked a little harder.
Yeah, the city council members, I'm like, oh, 2 towns that are like this. I'm not going that way, but it was a very good day. So like a lot of people, so Bashaw, my opponent, their people were just like, oh, well, for Bashaw, and people were telling him and his team, oh, we already voted for Christina. Like,
you're like, sticking it.
On my turf, in my community. I'm like, yeah, you're gonna get a couple, but like majority of the people are going to support.
Yeah, they don't know you here. What are you doing?
Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
just like,
It's a
they
big
know me.
state.
I've been a pain in the butt in this city for years. I'm like, I even got police officers supporting me, and they're going against the Democrats in the voting
Mhm.
booth for me. I'm just like, yeah, I'm like, no. And then I couldn't understand because at the end of the day I had to go get Zeppelis. So I did like 3 to 4 hours of campaign. I handed out, guys, I had like 3 to 4 thousand flyers. I handed everything out.
So,
Everything
so
out.
tell us about Zeppelis. If I think that might be a New Jersey thing, or else
Yeah,
I'm just not in the loop.
so it's like this soft, it's like a donut essentially, but it's like an Italian donut. So when you go to a street fair in Jersey, you have to get Zeppoli. So it's like this soft, golden, fried dough with powdered sugar on it, but it's like
That sounds amazing.
special. And it's
Yeah.
warm and it's special. It's a Zeppoli. If you guys ever had a Zeppoli, you're honored.
Well, when I come to visit you someday, I hope,
Yes.
especially if you win,
Well, in office, you
I'll
can
probably
come
just
visit
jump in
me.
the car and be there for the party.
Oh, and another fun. Oh my God, I met my youngest fan. She's this cute little adorable girl, and I gave her a hat, and she was like, so, and a small shirt, and she was so ecstatic. She was like, I'm putting on the hat, I'm wearing your shirt, I'm your biggest fan, and you're
How old
gonna
was she?
win. She had to have been like 9 or 10. She was very
Aw.
young, and I'm just like, I'm like, oh, I have to win now for you. I'm just like, there's no other way. Like, I can't.
Yep, she's counting on me.
No, like, I can't disappoint you at all. She was like the sweetest little girl. So that was really, that was a good day.
Wonderful. So you say you're supported by the local police, but I did see your interview. I watched it twice because it was so good on Mark Lamont Hill with Chibu Asanye, which is in my
Yes,
neck of the woods.
I love it.
And you said your biggest issue was prison reform.
Yes. So prison reform. All right. I don't even know where to begin. Everything is connected to the 13th Amendment. That's where I guess I would begin.
Okay.
First off, I'm the only Senate candidate that is that's fighting to amend the 13th Amendment. And it's very important because that's how we're going to get people, well, the current elected politicians, to funnel more money into better rehabilitation programs, addiction. Yes, we will have people that need to be hospitalized, probably depending on the severity of the crimes and where they're at, that might not have the supportive environment, that might need to be hospitalized for a very long time, because we do have to think about the safety of the community. So when I say prison reform, and isn't everyone's being, let out into the community. If their person's a danger to themselves, others, or, property, we don't want anyone setting a building on fire, then we would make sure that they are very well taken care of and that the public is taken care of. So I'm going to be having mental health professionals. We're going to be having social workers, the board of psychology, and we're going to have different large mental health organizations come together and completely redesign the prison program. And we're going to turn it more of a focus on mental health, because we got to get to the core of the issues of individual people in order to address the issues at hand. What led them to this? This is going to prevent, we want to prevent generational trauma within the family dynamic. We want to prevent communities from continuing to suffer. And we want the person to learn from their past behaviors. And we don't want people to reoffend. So when a person is let out, the chances of them reoffending are going to be so dramatically much lower than what it is now. Because currently what prisons do is they teach people to offend and to engage in survival mode and to maintain survival mode and how to push through. So they only learn more skills.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. And, our mental health system a lot of homeless get arrested. I mean, I lived in San Diego for a while. A lot of homeless get arrested all the time. And a lot of them are veterans.
That's tied to the 13th Amendment, because what we currently have is a slave system. And what it does is, you're homeless, you're not working, you commit a crime, or you have the disease of addiction or something, a petty crime. You could steal a pack of like tampons if it's that time of the month for a woman, and they could lock you up. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And you don't even actually in this country, you don't actually even have to commit a crime. They can put you in jail and say you committed a crime, like we see with the Hero 3. And
or just falling asleep in public
yep,
because you have nowhere to be. I mean,
yep,
they just did that. And for those that don't know, the 13th Amendment is about, say, abolish slavery and involuntary servitude, except as a punishment for a crime. That sounds like the perfect place to go to fix this. I mean, the people in jails and prisons, especially, they are put to work to help corporations now,
yep.
and it's modern day slavery. I'm sorry.
It is slavery. And so what we would be doing is redesign the entire thing. And then what this would essentially do, it's a domino impact. It would lead to better housing and better life quality, better treatment, better mental health treatment. So the money would get funneled, because where New Jersey's going, or where this entire country's going, is the private prison industry. We have like 69 cop cities built. We have super prisons being built, brand new ones. And then New Jersey's getting a whole slate of new private prisons, because what happened is Murphy, whether you like him or not, all right, and I'll keep my opinion to myself, but he did challenge the private prison industry. They gave him an $18 million lawsuit. He's not going to pay them, but when he's out of term, the next governor is not going to want to pay that. So they're going to go back. They're going to say, yes, build your prisons and your ICE detention centers. And this
So Murphy is the governor of
yep.
New Jersey. Okay, we're all the way over here, so we got Pritzker. Pritzker,
yeah,
some rich guy. I don't know.
yeah. Murphy's a rich guy too. So he did stand up against them, but this would also redesign the entire prison system. Is not just going to help the people going in, it's going to help the officers, because currently there's 12 officers a month in the state of New Jersey that are committing suicide because of the lack of mental health support. And people don't, so I'm a social worker and therapist, so I have to look at it from the outside of the box. And it starts with the politicians, it starts with the Senate and Congress people and the state senators as well. So people are like, okay, it's the police versus the citizens, but it's the politicians that create, and the police unions that create this atmosphere, because the police officers are on their own, and this is not an excuse in any way, shape, or form. They need to be held accountable for the actions that they do cause. But we have to redesign the entire program, the entire system from the top, to make sure that people are well mentally in order to do their job. Because right now it's a mess and there's a lot of hostility, and the community has every right to be angry. And but nobody holds the politicians accountable. Essentially, that's where I'm going at with this. So people are so quick to say, yeah, this officer needs to be arrested, and we have police brutality. Yes, 100% correct. But why are you still voting for the same people that are causing this?
A shout out to my buddy Mark Mixon. His favorite thing is to say yes and yes, and we should also do this. So, thanks, Mark. I carry that deep in my heart. Yeah, I mean, there's reasons for the way they behave.
Yeah, and we
could,
the entire thing can be, if you keep voting for, the same politicians while this is happening, why are you shocked that there's another hashtag? This is all political at the end of the day, and it's about the politicians who are writing the policy.
Right.
Why are you shocked that this officer is not held accountable and you voted for the same politician that allowed this to happen?
And reasons are not excuses.
Yeah.
Yeah, you cross the line, you do something horrible, you need to be held accountable. Yep. And at the same time, if you need mental health help, and maybe that's not the job for you anymore. Maybe you started out okay, something happened, I don't know.
Well, here's the other thing. So New Jersey passed a law that says officers need to work while they still have PTSD, and their PTSD treatment is 48 hours. They can only get 2 days off.
Yeah. I'm fine now.
Yeah.
I had a couple good nights sleep. I'm over it.
But when I'm talking to the officers, they love the platform, and they love how the treatment and the support that electing a new politician would give them. The unions hate me, PBA hates me, and the elected officials hate me. But the officers are like, this is how we're going to get back into good terms and build trust with the community. So it's just, And I always stress that people, before, as you're not just before, as you're holding the officers accountable, hold your elected officials accountable as well, because the policies that they write allow the officers to get away and to put them in this, to cause these hashtags to happen, to cause these lives to be stolen. So I stress that, because when
Mm-hmm.
I see people going to protest and saying, no more, we can't have this, and then they re-vote in the person because they're a Democrat, I'm just like, that was a waste of time. That was a waste of
Yeah.
resources.
Yeah.
Nothing's
Yeah.
going to change.
Exactly.
This politics is not going to do anything for you. And it's just a very sad, vicious cycle. And then something else bad happens. It's like, didn't you just say we got to vote for the person that caused this?
There is a huge disconnect
Yeah.
between the brokenness of our system, the violence in our system,
100%.
here and abroad. And
Yeah.
people cannot seem to make the connection to the people that are causing it.
Yeah.
It is our elected politicians
Yeah.
that don't work for us. They work for corporations and they work for their rich donors, and they don't care what we want. There is there is like zero chance of any policy being passed that has public support unless it has a corporation or a billionaire behind it.
Yeah.
And then they're going to screw it up because
Yeah.
like, that sounds nice, but let me put in all this other stuff that's not
Well,
nice.
here's the thing, and I'm starting to like get the hang of it. The system is working the way it's designed. And I'm starting to like understand that more. And politicians, the current politicians, I have to say, they are such good manipulators on such a large level, and it's very impressive when you sit back and you just observe, and you're just like, this is an art that they master, to just con and manipulate people, but also separate themselves from the current issues and say, man, that sucks that, rent just jumped up 2,000, 3,000 a month. And they have a good way of phrasing and wording things and making people think none of this is connected politically, when it's
Right.
all connected politically. It's all connected to policies. It's all connected to the government. And I really encourage people to start doing the research and start waking up, because being mad at the banks, being mad at investors, being mad at companies coming in and buying up homes, and being mad at whatever inflations and supermarkets and all this stuff, it's not going to work unless you vote the same people that's causing this out of office. You're just wasting your energy.
Yeah. Yeah. One thing that locally we've been working on, we tried to get a ceasefire amendment passed our city council, and I'm glad ours don't come to fisticuffs.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's.
I mean, we were just scolded like kids, like we're not grown ups, you know. I did have a gentleman in front of me say, if you don't like it, you can leave, you know. I mean, because they'd be up there just saying the most outrageous things during the public comment. And of course, I'm with the ceasefire group. I'm with the Palestinian community and the allies, and they're just up there just saying these things that are just horrible. So we started booing, and then we got scolded for that, and then we started talking to each other. You know, it's like, oh my god, you know. Now we weren't allowed to whisper, and then like, well, if you disagree or if you agree, you're supposed to stand up. Well, how do you know if I'm agreeing or disagreeing? You know.
Yeah.
And then the last city council meeting that I went to, we went there to thank them because they passed a peace resolution. It wasn't what we wanted, but it was something. And
Yeah.
it was basically thanking the members that worked really hard to get something done.
Yeah.
And they I don't know if they put us in a different room or what, but the room was half the size. So not everybody could come in.
Oh wow.
Yeah. We had people arrested because they made up this arbitrary rule where only one from each side could speak. We're like, but there's 60 of us here, and there's like
Yeah.
5 of y'all here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was quite the.
I hope somebody is running against those city council members. I hope there's a slate of people.
I'm working on it.
Yeah.
I have one
Because-
particular guy that I think would be terrific, and one particular guy that needs to go, but he's not up for re-election in 2025. It's later.
Yeah. That's what I want to stress. Like, guys, we're mad at what, the city council. If they're not doing the job, they need to be replaced. That's the thing. In order to make the changes, and that's why I'm with the Green Party. I want to grow, and we don't take corporate donations. So I want to grow. I want to see
Mm-hmm.
slates of new candidates, and I don't care if I do like PSL too. I don't care if you're part of PSL working with the Greens. You know what I mean? So like,
Mm-hmm.
slate of good new candidates on different levels saying, I'm coming in, I'm making these changes, and we're going to see changes within the community immediately.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And so let me tell you about my yesterday,
Yeah.
if I may. I know we didn't discuss this ahead of time. So our ceasefire group meets at 1:30 at our town pavilion. We've been doing it every Sunday for a year. Um and I go to my fellowship at like 10:30 to 11:30, then I hang out with people for a little bit. So I go and I change. I just head that way. So I get there about 1 o'clock. Kamala Harris demonstration in our space.
Ew.
And I'm like, I'm like, this is our space. We have permission. What are you doing here? So we start setting up at 1:30. They were supposed to quit at 2. And they were over there waving at us. Oh, thank you. And we're like, they my friends in the ceasefire group was like, calm down, Edie.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, turn your backs on them. We're not with them.
Yeah.
I'm like, why are you thanking us? You're not with us.
Yeah.
You're trying to co-opt our space. You're trying to make people driving by that we're, you
They make
support
them
the
think.
ceasefire, but
Yeah.
you're willing to vote for the person that's doing it. Like,
Yeah.
because Trump. This lady, I don't remember her name, and even if I did, I wouldn't call her out. But she's like, if Trump wins, it's over. It's over. And I'm like, no, it isn't.
It's not, because then you're going to have the liberals saying ceasefire and the Democrats working.
Yeah.
I'd rather have Jill in office where we don't have to have a headache. I don't want to do protests for the rest of my life. I don't want to have to fight with politicians. Just vote in people that already support common sense solutions for common sense issues.
Yeah. And I do feel if Kamala would win, the people would go back to sleep. There's a lot of the left that would go back to sleep like they did under Obama. They just go back to sleep. And I what did I say? I think it was when Biden won. I was like, friends don't let friends go back to brunch.
Well, you know what? I do want to say, I do think at this point, I think we've opened up our eyes and we are awake, and we know if we can't rely on other people to make the change, which is why I went into running for office and many others. We have to be the change. We can't ask other people to do it because they'll never do it. We need to be the change. We need to grow. We need to continue this.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, after the election, it's like, what do we do on November 6th? How do we move forward? And I've already had these conversations with people. What if I don't win? What if I do win? Because that's up in the air. What do both situations look like?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we don't go away in between the presidential elections. We work our tails off. It's just nobody covers us.
No one covers us. So now it's like what Butch is doing, what you are doing. Now we're creating our own space of media, and now we're going out there, and now we're going to let people see us and hear us, and we're going to keep track of everything.
Yeah. Yep. We're going to create our own space.
Yep.
And there's an election every year. It's your city council in the off years. It's midterms in like 2026, and then another presidential election in 2028. And that 5% could change everything. I mean, that's the minimum goal. Of course, I want to win. My dog, sorry. My dog interrupted the stream this time.
Yeah.
She's like trying to climb in my lap, and she's a Labrador. That's not going to work. What? So anyway, you go because I'm distracted.
But like, and another thing is like, okay, we have the whole tax the rich thing, and people are like, I hate Elon, I hate Jeff Bezos, I hate these people. Okay, you hate them, you want them. You're saying, oh, if they did this, they spent this money, we'd end homelessness, if they spend this money, then we would have end world hunger.
Mm-hmm.
Why would they when there's no policy? It's your current officials that are why should they? They shouldn't. There's no one holding them accountable. There's no policy written. Why like the tax breaks, the tax cuts, the how they evade all this money and they hoard it.
Mm-hmm.
Why would they? They're given the green light to do this. So,
They have become basically royalty of the world.
well, that, and it's just like, if you want the change, don't just have a few politicians that are saying, um, we got to tax the rich. Elect the politicians that are going to write the policy. Elect the people that are going to put in the hard work. It shouldn't be the
Mm-hmm.
voters that are putting in the hard work. So it's you're mad at them, but you're not mad at the politicians. It doesn't make sense because the politicians is what created them.
Yeah, exactly. They allowed it to happen
Yeah.
because they've been bought off,
Yep.
and it's legal now. So they don't
Yep.
even have. They can't even get in trouble for it. It's legal bribery. Thank you, Citizens United. Money is not speech, and corporations are not people because they can't
Yep.
die. Um,
And what a lot of these corporations they always forget, it's the people that hold the power, it's the people that run this country. It's not the politicians, and that's what a lot of the politicians also forget as well. And these corporate bummers, I like to call them. But it's 25%, which I'm really excited, and I really hope that the general strike does happen.
mm,
Um, because I'd like to, if we have 25%, this entire economy would collapse. A lot of, yep, 25% of Americans just need to go on strike and the entire economy would collapse. And if we had 50% or anything above 25%, the politicians would be cowering. They,
oh,
general strike is what scares them the most, because that's going to hit them where it hurts the most is their pockets. They're going,
absolutely.
yep. So I really hope this general strike really goes off.
So is there organizing going on around that? I know
Yes.
Workers Strike Back was talking about it.
Yeah, there is there's actually a website, it's General Strike something.
Mm-hmm.
There are people actually organizing it for the next presidential election 2028. So they've been building on it. How they've also people have been discussing how they're going to help um pay for people's bills, their mortgages, their rents, their electricity. So people are actually starting to like fundraise for that, because what they want is to make sure nobody's homeless, but they want this strike to last as long as possible. And it's going to be the mega donors, because Amazon wouldn't exist without the people. Ford wouldn't exist without the people.
Mm-hmm.
Tesla wouldn't exist without the people.
You kind of read my mind because UAW did that stand up strike and it was very effective, and
Yep.
then they turned right around and sold out. But
Yep.
not the members, just the
Yep.
leadership.
Yep.
Yeah, it was effective. You got what you wanted, and now they're just going to start pulling it back because you just gave away all your power when you said, "Oh, I'm for Dems." So I get up there with my
Yep.
shirt at the DNC.
Yep.
Well, you just gave away your power.
Yeah.
Make them wonder if you know what I
Make
mean.
them afraid, and that's the thing. It's we're seeing more people step out of line, and that's what I like. And I want to see even more people step out of line. I want to see even more people cause fear to these corporate entities or these politicians. Not physical fear, but put on strike, call them out, hold them accountable. Even if with
Mm-hmm.
Bernie Sanders, there was somebody in one of his events a couple weeks ago that held him accountable, and it was wonderful, because he's a sellout.
So I did want to ask, maybe name just a couple of things quickly. What changes would you like to have happen when you get elected? Because we're just gonna put that energy out there.
Yeah, the first thing is ceasefire, and then also starting to draft the policy to rebuild Palestine and Congo, help Sudan out, pull so those, and start working on rebuilding our international relationships, because we want to be cohesive internationally. We don't want to be the number one enemy of the world. We want to be the friend. And I also want to work on the homelessness, reducing the suicide rate, and redesigning immigration in the U.S. because the entire thing has to be completely dismantled. Universal health care and the education crisis. So there's like a lot of things I want to do on day one, but I think the priority would be ceasefire.
Well,
And the
that kind of
chances,
leads me into Day one.
yeah,
I can't.
and
Yeah, but everybody else can.
and I just want to encourage people, like, you get, it doesn't, even if it's not me, but if you guys can get one green into office this year, it's going to change the entire game, and it's going to put fear. And so say, Kamala wins and you get one green, watch how fast these people move left, because they know their seats are at very high risk because the left just united and put one person into office.
Oh, yeah. So I don't know if everybody can see this. This is Jill Stein's day one agenda, and I'm sure we both agree with pretty much
Yes.
everything on here. End the genocide by calling Netanyahu on the phone, declare a climate emergency, releasing funds, cancel all repayments of student loan debt, restore the process of asylum claims at the Mexican border, amnesty to those serving time for nonviolent use, cultivation, possession of cannabis. And I know she's for legalizing it across the country.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's a public health issue. It's not a criminal issue. Ranked choice voting, close carried interest loopholes, $25 an hour, and minimum wage. And I know a lot of small businesses, this scares them, but the devil is always in the details. The policy hasn't been completely written yet. It has to be worked out. So you're not going to get left out. She doesn't take money from corporations. They're not going to, throw small businesses under the bus. They're going to support you. Commit to veto any legislation that breaks a strike.
Yes.
All this is great.
I just want to answer Yvonne, I hope I'm saying your name right, question. So it's called General, traditional spelling GENERAL, strike, traditional spelling STRIKE, the letters US.com. And when you go, it says the strike is coming. But nice. They need 3.5% of the population, but I want them to hit 25%. I want it.
Well, I mean, we've already had a rail strike that Biden crushed. There was dock workers on the East Coast, right?
But they sold out so fast. They were like, okay, we'll do the strike after the election. And they were just not giving they weren't working the docks for us. They were still bringing the weapons over to Israel. So it wasn't even a real strike to begin with.
Yeah, but the like the kindling is there. People are unhappy.
Yeah.
So I think it could work. And Yvonne, that's my bestie. She always comes and supports me. Me and my guests. Yeah. Always ask some of the best questions. So we got like 7 minutes left. So I think that all sounds great. A couple of things I would add. You did mention healthcare, Medicare for all. I was heavily involved in that.
Yes.
Ballot access, fairness, and do away with electoral
also
college.
Making it easily, having transportation made much easier for people that are in rural or that are elderly. And Medicare for all would cover all that, and will also cover mental health. And it would even cover families to help them get the assistance if they have a child, or if a child has a parent or a sibling that is disabled, so they don't have to worry about their quality of life declining. Everyone would be able to be well taken care of, so we don't have to punish people for having a disability. Because right now, in the capitalistic world, it's if you don't work for $1, your value is non-existent. So we want to treat people like human beings. We do not want to have people mistreated. And like one of the big things I'm doing is a federal job guarantee, which would be matching people to their jobs. So say someone does have a disability, we do the work for the person. So we match them with their job. Oh, this is your skill set. This is what you're good at. Okay, you get a livable wage. You get full benefits, a pension, everything that comes with it. and this is where you're going to work. So people don't have to, like, if you have a bad back or if you had hernia surgery or something, you don't have to worry about standing up as a cashier. Maybe you want to be a cashier, but we say you have to sit down.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like little things like that. So we're just making sure, and this would also create such a healthy competition for the public job sector market, and would force
Mm-hmm.
them to step up and actually match the benefits, and they would have to actually excel the federal benefits in order to get people to want to come work for them.
Yeah.
So it's what we need in this country, and this would also help build the U.S. infrastructure and help, because we do have so many people that I know, people that want to work, but they have certain limitations, or they get discriminated against, and they have
Mm-hmm.
such great skill sets. Like my one friend has great experience, has a college degree, and but the individual, you can see the disability on their face. They were born with a disability, but it's visible. It's not an invisible disability.
Mm-hmm.
And the person lost a lot of jobs because of that. And people just discriminated. And I'm sitting here, I'm just like, I know you're more than capable of handling this type of work and doing this. Like, the person's such a hard worker. Like, they're really good. People just don't think that they.
Yeah, and that's so devastating.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, working does give you a sense of value, it gives you a routine, it gives you a sense of purpose, whatever you're working at,
Yeah.
whatever you're making, if you're doing something as even as a hobby or whatever, like putting value into the world, it makes you feel purposeful, you know, um, and whatever that happens to be, that's a wonderful idea.
Yes. And
So,
oh, sorry.
oh, go ahead.
Oh, yeah. So it was just like to witness that, just as a person, just feeling like helpless, or it's just like I don't even have the power to kind of help my own friend.
Yeah.
I know millions of other people are going through the same exact thing, and it's like, okay, the politicians just don't care, because I've seen the politicians be addressed on this, and then they're just like, "Thank you for coming, vote for me. Here's a slice of
They're like,
pizza."
what? Oh, I gotta
Yeah,
go.
you want me to
And
work?
And another thing, you know, people don't understand how hard it is to get on the ballot. The ballot access fairness, that's huge. And to do away with the electoral college, I mean, it's so outdated. You
Oh
know,
yeah,
it should be popular vote. I mean, lover or hater, Hillary did win the popular vote and Trump got elected, just saying.
yeah.
Um, so and that's something that the Green Party is down to do. Um, so I
So
did want
I'm
yeah, go
running
ahead.
for Senate, and I support abolishing the Electoral College, because
Right.
I would be the person to decide, and I would be voting for anyway. My vote would go toward the more popular vote anyway, but
Mm-hmm.
it's, who am I to override people's votes and say they don't matter?
I did want to announce that I got an email today from the Jill Stein campaign, and she has billboards in 40 states that's reached over 1 million people.
Ooh.
She's also having a virtual town hall tomorrow at 8 p.m. So I'll put that up here real
I
quick.
really wonder. I gotta go Google. I want to know
So
if she.
just go to jillstein2024.com town hall. It's on our website. Um, yeah. So
You know if one of those billboards are in New Jersey?
I don't know.
I really
It's
wish, because the
the
map.
email. We forgot to check the email, but 40 states out of 50 is pretty good.
I know, and
Uh,
one of the maps, it looked like New Jersey was tagged, but I couldn't tell because of how tiny it was.
yeah,
Um,
I want to go get a picture.
yeah, and I'm
Yeah.
just like, oh, I'd like to know where it is, because I'd like to take a picture of it.
Hmm.
So we'll see.
Yeah. And
Maybe I find it.
if you'd like to, hear what Jill Stein's about, and Rudolph, if you're writing him in,
Yes.
her running mate, Rudolph Ware, they're having a virtual town hall tomorrow, 8 p.m. So sign up right there. Um, did you have anything you wanted to close with? Where can
Um,
they find you again?
you could go to KhalilForSenate.com. And if you're going to sign up to volunteer, I just need people on my website, not my website. I just need people to push out my social media page. So that's where I'm at with volunteering right now.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. And I would say, please like and subscribe to the Illinois Green Party official YouTube channel and like us on Facebook. I can subscribe, remember? And, join the Illinois Green Party. We need people. We need volunteers. We're doing some terrific things.
Yeah.
I'm having a Jill Stein rally on Sunday right here in town because, Kamala can't get all the fun.
Also, like, if we're thinking about it, it's like, I feel like Jill has to win because it's like, who the heck comes after Jill? Like, those are some big shoes. She's a tiny woman, but those shoes are very big to fill. Like,
I think Butch is pretty cool though. He's actually said he's going to run for governor of California should they not win.
Yeah,
and that would be huge. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm getting to Butch has got to come back to Jersey. We're gonna have a conversation, me and Butch. So yeah. We'll see.
just when he talks, he really I like how he just really gets down to the meat of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not a bunch of, I mean,
I like
he doesn't get too wonky, and he just like goes to the why. He hits the why really hard.
Yeah, I like Butch. I don't have anything against Butch.
Mm-hmm.
But he's not Jill Stein.
Yeah. I love Jill. I actually met her.
So high, guys. I'm sorry. Like Butch is good, but he's Butch. He's not Jill Stein. Like, who comes after? Who can match?
Well, I mean, she's probably getting kind of tired of running. She just wants to win already. Yeah. Let me just get in there and do some stuff, and then next.
Yeah.
And even the Green Party, like, even should they win, we will still be paying attention. You should still pay attention to what your government's doing.
Yeah.
You don't just check out on November 6th.
And that's what I like about my career, because I'm always out in the community. I'm always out talking to people. So, like,
yeah, me too.
I'm still out there, guys. Like, whether I win or lose, I'm out there. So I'm out there. It's just I could just build my support for the next run. That's where I'm at.
Well, it's been a great pleasure. Hang on after, but it's been a great pleasure having you, and I hope everybody enjoyed it. It seems like they did. We had quite a few people watching, so that's awesome. We'll see you next time. I believe I'm doing another one tomorrow, but I haven't gotten it for sure. Anna, I can't say her last name, Scheffelbein. I'm sure I'm getting that wrong. She's the co-chair of the Illinois Green Party, and she is running for Congress in the 11th district. So hopefully see you guys tomorrow. If not, I'll be back next week.
See you guys. Thank you.
And Yvonne says, good luck, Christina.
Thank you, Yvonne.
New Jersey needs you.
They desperately need somebody new.